What's happening, you cracker-ass, Jimmy-slinging sons of bitches? Welcome to Grind Slime TV with me, your host, Aaron. It is a beautiful day outside, and I don't want to be sat indoors any more than you guys do. So, in lieu of the nice weather, let's head on over to Spain and talk about, boom, cerebral effusion. Oh, yes. It is hot, 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 and I ain't talking about the weather, son. Look at that shit. Focus, you son of a bitch. Oh, look at that monster. It has a vagina. Absolutely sick. This is their album. See, again, these fucking titles. Idolatry of the Unethical. I'm terrible with these titles, as you know. As you all know. But this album is an absolute banger. It's the only one I've got because up until recently, when New Standard Elite put out the reissues, can't to get hold of. But I managed to get in there one of those lucky eBay ones. This was it was like $7.99. I was like, can I have that? So got your standard kind of inlay, you know, your lyrics and whatnot, you know, raping paraplegics and what have you. Standard band photo there. Oh yeah, very cool, very cool. And you know, pretty standard booklet. Got the zoomed in art on the back. They got that sort of track listing with the Roman numerals and the jogginess. A lot of bands were doing that around this sort of time, sort of 2014, I think. But it's pretty much just a little zoom in on the artwork monster on the CD. Musically, pretty much, it's not 100% Cali Discord worship. It's got its own kind of identifiers about it. You know, they like to go a bit more on the slower side from time to time. You know, not in the sort of like a womb full of scabs kind of slow, but more sort of, you know, there's a nice breakdown kind of speed. They love a breakdown, these guys, the old slams. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that they're a straight up slam band because these guys know how to go fast. They're technical. They've got that really cool deep gutturals going on that you want to hear when it comes to brutal death metal. Oh yeah. And these guys have been going since like 97, 98, something like that. Various full lengths and splits and EPs and whatnot. Actually, I think it's one EP, a split, demo, and 5 full lengths, I think. Something like that. Like I said, it's the only one I've got. But with the reissues of the last 3 albums, including this one, I should be able to pick up a couple more, you know. So shout out to Dylan Smith, who asked for a Cerebral Effusion review, which is, I came to deliver, you know. What can I say? But what I also like about this is that these guys can be melodic in a, like I usually say, you know, not in a gay way, but in a sort of just where you can pick up little tunes and be like, oh yeah, sweet, yeah, I remember this bit. Oh, this bit's cool. Like they've got these sort of like tunes they do with like the pinch harmonics, you know, because you get a lot of bands in the brutal death metal realm. You know, you know, they love a pinch harmonic, but these guys they actually play little tunes with them, so that's kind of cool. You know, very reminds me of cephalotripsy. I don't know if you no, not cephalotripsy, sorry, coprocephalic, who are I believe from Greece. I'm probably fucking wrong there. We'll have a look later. We'll find out and correct myself. But yeah, coprocephalic, they do that same sort of thing, but they've got these really cool, you know. So and these guys like to utilize that as well, almost in like a solo kind of way. It's quite haunting, really cool. Now, if you're into bands like obviously like you know California Disgorge, Putridity, and that kind of ilk, you know, you could get into these quite easily. But if you're into other brutal death metal bands that have a bit more sort of groove to them, you know, like your Gorgasms, your Levidities, your Regurgitations, you know, those sort of bands. This isn't a guarantee like, but I could see people being like, you know, if that's the only kind of brutal death you like and you don't like the constant speed and blasting. This might be a nice brutal one for you to get into. And I personally think I have heard the other albums. In fact, I haven't heard their latest, which came out a few years ago, I think. But of the stuff I have heard, this one is definitely the best, I think. In fact, quite a few people seem to agree with me on that one. Seem to think this is their Toman and Mutilated, if you would. Yeah, you've got 7 tracks, totaling at about 33 minutes. So really cool sort of time there is. Which that's a good length, I think, as well for brutal death metal. There's like very few bands I think can get away with doing a 40-minute plus brutal death metal album, and I think Kali Disgorge is one of them. Like their album, Parallels of Infinite Torture, I think is an absolute masterpiece. As I think with all of their albums, to be honest with you, they're a fantastic band. And I've got to say, these guys are pretty consistent themselves. I mean, oh, look at it. It's just, why can't I get this to focus? Why is it being a player hater? Oh, it's a shame. But yeah, Idolatry of the Unethical. It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, it's just been reissued through New Standard Elite. I don't know what the prices are going because I haven't looked yet, but I'll be picking up those other 2 albums pretty soon. Don't you worry about that. Just got to see if my local stores get it in. Distros, see what's happening. So, have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Ooh-wee. And make sure, keep it extreme. I'm a fuck off out into the sun. In a bit.